Hey everyone, Sleepy Reader here, Damien. Drinking my bat beer, making my bat face. Celebrating Batman Day. Was that yesterday? I missed it. My comic book store did have the free Batman Day comic when I went in on Wednesday, so I'm glad I got that. Um, so this is my usual warning. I do more spoiling on my Batman video than others because a lot of people read Batman books, and I figure you can watch this after you read your Batman books if you care. If you don't care, then you can just have them spoiled for you. I don't know how thoroughly I'll explore and spoil things today because I got a bunch of different issues I want to comment on at least briefly. First of all, Justice League 3001. Most Bat fans certainly don't consider this essential. We've got kind of a future alternate Batman who is kind of like his genetics are cloned over onto someone's body and it's very flawed and no one remembers what the Justice League was really like and the people in the Justice League have no clue. Uh, but there's this great scene in here that made me think of my Bat friends. Um, Batman, who looks quite different here. Well, this artist in this issue has this weird way of putting people's faces in shadows that way. Um, so we don't even see Batman a whole lot. There he is. He's talking to this woman who actually is a villain, but no one knows it. But that's besides the point. But he has sent this girl who has some of the Flash's powers off on a dangerous mission just to give her training. And this other woman thinks it's a mistake, and he says that speaking from experience, she needs this. And the woman says the man who led 12-year-old boys into battle against the Joker. And then Batman replies, this is Batman in 3001, the revived, flawed Batman, or that's just a ridiculous myth. You know me, Ariel. Do you think I'd ever do anything that reckless and stupid? Anyway, that was very funny to me, and I really liked it. And friends on Twitter saw I tweeted out that panel. The woman he's talking to actually has the memories of an evil Lois Lane, wherever that comes from, who remembers, as she says, I have very clear memories of all the Robins that you led into death and danger, even if you don't, which she doesn't tell to Batman. And probably that wasn't an intentional nod to all the Robin stuff coming up, but maybe it was. I don't know. Because in the beginning of the end of this Endgame sampler, we have, what is it, a 5 or 6 page teaser for the new Batman and Robin Eternal. Yeah, so, and when does that start coming out? October 7th. So 2 weeks from now. And I'm looking forward to the weekly discussion that we had before with Batman Eternal. But I guess I'll get back to this. This is really all Robin stuff here. An alternate Robin named Arkham Knight, spoiler if you haven't been following this, who is actually Jason Todd. So Arkham Knight Genesis, which is confusing as you're reading the Arkham Knight series and then the Genesis series comes out different weeks, sometimes the same week, I think. I think both these books may be coming out. Anyway, we're getting the backstory of how Jason Todd eventually become the genesis, obviously, of how he becomes the Arkham Knight. And so most of this issue, well, there's a cool and fun big fight scene between Deathstroke and two Robins. I'm a little fuzzy on which Robin it is, actually. And then we find out that Deathstroke has been hired by Jason Todd. He's fighting the Robins so that Jason Todd can... What is Jason Todd doing now? I can't remember. See, I've read too many comics this week, or this was actually last week. I should have. I've been lacking in time to make the videos in a timely manner. Anyway, it's interesting because this is all a book in which clearly Bruce Wayne is the betrayer of Jason Todd. I don't know if he's going to become Red Hood first and then become Arkham Knight, or the Red Hood part's not going to happen and this replaces the Red Hood story. But the stuff, especially the flashbacks to when Jason was was Robin and fighting Deathstroke, and Batman was getting on his case for not obeying orders, even though he thought he was dead and everything. It gives you a lot of sympathy for Jason Todd. I feel like we're just hearing it from Jason Todd's point of view, and everything may have played out a little differently if we saw it from Batman's point of view. But I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way we're playing it up. I'm very much enjoying that we're going to have 6 whole issues to build up this whole story, and the weave of the present day Arkham Knight's machinations against Batman and the Robin family of Robins, and the backstory is really cool, really effective. And I apologize for, I should have reviewed these issues more, reread them or something before doing this video, but I didn't. And then we have Robin fighting Deathstroke. Ironic, unplanned, I assume. The level of the artwork by Patrick Gleason, is remaining top notch. Awesome coloring, great action scenes, great layouts, just everything great about the art. Can't get enough of it. And this is what makes me willing to pay top dollar to get this comic. And the story's still good, but I feel it getting messier and sloppier as it moves along. And I really had a hard time reading this page. Look how much dialogue there is there. He's just kind of going crazy, and he's kind of telling us way more than we need to know. And it's ironic that a visual artist is not finding a better visual storytelling for those kinds of things. But I guess basically, it seems like as a writer, he's a little bit insecure, and he feels like he has to tell us more than he needs to tell us. So, I mean, I could go back through here. That was my impression a week ago when I read this. There's all this stuff about Alexander the Great and Alexandria and stuff like that, and I think just a little bit of that would have been better, especially because I don't think it plays any real role here, other than that sense of deep time. There's some really cool stuff, like the way, and that visual is really cool, the way Deathstroke comes after nobody. I love the touch that the way to beat Deathstroke in the end was via his bank account. And I want to see Robin Damian a little bit more flawed here. He's a little too perfect. In Batman and Robin, he had lots of flaws, but now he's on his own, and he's the perfect guy, and his foil is this imperfect person, Nobody, the daughter of Nobody who has become Nobody. But yeah, and I don't know what was the purpose of the Deathstroke fight except to be cool and have fun, and that's fine, I guess. I'm holding comics up to too high of a, especially superhero comics, I suppose, up to too high of a standard, because boy, I'm really saying and stuttering for my words a lot today. Not enough beer. So anyway, for whatever reason, I've gotten into my head that everything has to count, and maybe that comes from Scott Snyder or whatever. This is just a fun comic book, and it was fun to read. I was deep into the Robin zone with all this reading, and even deeper with Grayson, The Journey Home. The Journey Home. This was both a filler issue in a way, not totally a filler issue, but kind of a resting point, a stopping point. Maybe the editorial powers that be said you need to tie Dick Grayson back to his Gotham roots and his Gotham stuff. Maybe because of what's going to be happening not in Batman Endgame, but in Batman and Robin Eternal. But assuming that was what the writers here were responding to, Tom King and Tim Seeley did a brilliant job of turning it into a really interesting story. I learned from my wonderful Batman guide, Joshua Hayes, that all these quotes of conversations that Bruce and Robin had, and then in other pages where it does it with other characters, with Batgirl or with Damian, are all things taken from past issues that have been said. As usual, Mikal Janin is like between Gleason and Janin, and I guess Capullo. We've got the three top artists at DC, I would guess, in my opinion. But yeah, even when I read this, I did not know these were quotes from the past. I thought they were really cool, and it was a effective way to stir up memory and thought. But the only complaint I have about this is that it just kind of muddies the waters of what Grayson is about, and that everyone knows who he is and where he is, what he's doing, and all of that. I'm not sure why he's still in Spiral. I'm not sure what the threat of Spiral is anymore. There's now a new threat introduced, as in this Agent Zero, Luca Netz. I'm not sure if we know who she is or not. I can't recall. I don't think even Joshua Hayes was totally sure. I do love the clever way all of these seemingly just sentimental meetings with the other members of the Bat family tie into the spy business and the tricks that Grayson is playing in his own role as a double agent and his hacking of Spiral's system. So I look forward to that thread of things being continued from Grayson. I don't know that. I feel like the emotional tying in to Gotham and all of that was for publishing commercial reasons, and was done in a way that the sentimentality of it would be enjoyable for Bat fans. But if you were just a fan of Grayson, of this spy comic, I think it would be less interest to you. So, and that brings me, not you, you could go anywhere you want, back to this Batman Day comic. I do have to say, just, flipping through the pages of the beginning of Endgame again, I love the Capullo art. So it is a really nice time for Batman art, or Bat family art, since those other two books are about various Robins, Grayson and Damian Wayne. But the reason why I was eager to get this was I just didn't want to miss out on the prequel, or the zero moment of Batman and Robin Eternal, which I bounced off of at first. It just looked too fancy in a way. So I flipped through it and I didn't immediately read it. I mean, this page looks cool, sort of, but also is not super readable for me. But the theme here is Batman lied about something. He has some hidden secret that's going to bring everything down. We've had that theme already from Scott Snyder, and we have that theme basically in Grayson, where everyone's mad at Dick for he and Batman having fooled them. But I don't think that's the lie. The big lie in Death of the Family, where the Joker reveals that Batman didn't tell everyone else in the family that the Joker might know who they all are because there's evidence that he had been in the Batcave. So there's kind of a recurring theme here. It's a good theme that Batman has lied, but it feels like this is going to be the third time they're playing on it. And I don't feel like Bruce Wayne had his comeuppance over lying about Grayson, because which it seemed like he dramatically deserved it, but now he has no memory, etc. There's no. It's hard to tell how Batman Eternal ties in with the current Batman. Current what's going on with Batman. Either is is it gonna start with Bunny Ears Bunny Ears Batman, who isn't Bruce Wayne, or who is Commissioner Gordon, or are we going to jump right ahead to when Bruce Wayne is back to being Batman and he's responsible for everything he's done in the past because he's got his brain back, his memories and his brain and his motivation back, so that it feels like I worry from this, even though it's a good story idea, that they're recycling and they may be cheating a little bit, but we'll see. I am actually still excited over it, but we've got Batman in 3001 saying it was a myth that he endangered little boys, and we've got a sort of apocryphal story of one of the boys he endangered and the horrible things that happened to him. And we've got all these people who've been lied to, and all of those issues going on. So I'm very much in the frame of mind of Batman as the bad father. Where do we want to go with Batman as the bad father? How far do we want to take Batman into the bad father range? And yeah. And it was weird seeing Robin Damian in Gotham, when I feel like he's spending a year not in Gotham, just roaming the world trying to right wrongs that he himself created when he was a bad guy, when he was doing what Talia al Ghul told him to do. So the Bat world is all a jumble, which is fine, except when they tell me it all ties in, I guess. But I got to accept that it doesn't all tie in, really. So I guess the sum total of all that is all this reading. Although I'm being critical of it, I'm really excited to go on with Grayson, with Robin, Son of Batman, and with Batman Eternal, and with the Batman Arkham series. And really excited that Tomasi is going to be coming on Detective, because he did such a great job with Batman and Robin, and is, in my opinion, doing a very, very solid job with game tie-ins, which are a very limited kind of comic. So hopefully Tomasi can really energize things in Detective. And always looming over it is this fear that whatever Snyder's doing via Tinian, I guess, in Batman and Robin Eternal and in Batman itself, will muck up the other people's writings. So may they all stay separate, and Grayson too, especially. So yeah, thanks for listening to me be a Bat nerd. Soon I will go back to regular life, but it was nice talking to you. Bye bye.